I picked him up at a warehouse in Cranbury at 2:40 in the morning. He came running out before I'd even fully stopped the car. A young guy, mid-20s, still in his work clothes. A hi-vis vest, steel-toe boots, the uniform of the overnight shift. He was already talking before he got the door open. "Hospital, Centra State, please man, go fast. Go as fast as you legally can. My wife's in labor. The baby's coming early. I gotta be there. Go, please." I went. He got in the back and he was vibrating. There's no other word for it. His knee was bouncing, his hands were shaking. He kept checking his phone, kept locking it and unlocking it. He had grease on his hands from work, and he kept wiping them on his jeans, like he could wipe off the whole night and start it cleaner. I said, "How far apart are the contractions? Do you know?" He said, "I don't..." She said, "Close." She said, "Come now." She wasn't due for 3 more weeks. 3 more weeks. I had a plan, man. I had a whole plan. I was going to take off work the week before. I had the bag packed. Now I'm at work at 2 in the morning and she's calling me and the baby's just coming. Now. Tonight. I said, "First one?" He said, "First one. Yeah. We're going to be... Oh my God. We're going to be parents. Tonight. I'm going to be somebody's dad in like an hour." And then he laughed. This shaky, terrified, overwhelmed laugh. And he said, "I don't know how to be a dad. I don't know anything. I don't even know how to hold a baby. I held my nephew once and I held him wrong and my sister yelled at me. I'm going to be what if I'm terrible at this?" I said, "You're not going to be terrible." He said, "How do you know?" I said, "Because terrible dads don't run out of work at 2 in the morning shaking like a leaf because they're scared of doing it wrong. The scared ones are the good ones. The ones who don't care, they're the ones you got to worry about. You're scared because you already love this kid. You've loved this kid for 9 months. The love showed up before the baby did. That's how you know you're going to be okay." He went quiet for a second. He looked at me in the mirror. He said, "You got kids?" I said, "I do." He said, "Were you scared the first time?" I told him the truth. I said, "I was so scared. I had to pull the car over on the way to the hospital because I couldn't see straight. My wife had to talk me through breathing, and she was the one in labor. She's never let me forget it." He laughed, a real one this time. Some of the shaking eased. "That makes me feel better, honestly." I said, "It should. We were all terrified. Every single one of us who ever did this was terrified the first time. And most of us turned out to be pretty good dads anyway. The terror's just love that hasn't found its job yet. Once you see that baby, the terror turns into something else. It turns into... I don't even know what to call it. It turns into the reason you do everything for the rest of your life." We drove through the empty 2 a.m. streets. Every light was with us. I hit green after green, like the whole town was clearing a path. He watched out the window, his knee still bouncing, but slower now. He said, quietly, "We don't have much, you know. Me and her. We rent a 1-bedroom. I work nights at the warehouse. She does daycare during the day. Money's tight. We weren't even sure we could afford to do this yet. We kept saying, let's wait till we're more set up. Let's wait till we have more saved. Let's wait till things are easier." He shook his head. Things never got easier. We just got pregnant anyway. And now I'm scared we did it too soon. We don't have enough. We're not ready. I said, "Can I tell you something? Nobody's ever ready. Nobody ever has enough. The people who wait until they're set up and have enough saved, half of them wait forever. There's no amount of money that makes you ready for this. You just love them and you figure it out as you go. The money comes or it doesn't, but you figure it out either way because you have to and because you want to. He nodded slowly. I said, besides, a baby doesn't know if you're rich. A baby knows two things. Am I warm? And is somebody who loves me holding me? That's the whole list. You can do both of those things tonight. Broke, in a one-bedroom, on a warehouse salary. You're already qualified. You've been qualified this whole time. We pulled up to the hospital. The emergency entrance lights were bright in the dark. He grabbed the door handle. Then he stopped, and he turned back to me, and he stuck out his greasy hand, and I shook it.
He said, "Thank you, man. I mean it. I got in this car a wreck, and I don't know. I think I can do this now. I think I'm ready." I said, "Go meet your kid. Go on." He jumped out, and then, I'll never forget this, he ran a few steps toward the entrance, and then he stopped, and he turned around, and he yelled back at me across the dark parking lot, grinning like a maniac. "I'm gonna be a dad!" And I yelled back, "You're gonna be a dad! Go!" And he ran inside, into the bright lights, to meet the person who was about to become the center of his entire world. I sat in the parking lot for a minute. The sky out east was just barely starting to think about getting light. That deep blue that comes before the gray that comes before the dawn. First light. Somewhere up in that building, a kid who didn't exist yet was about to exist. A whole new person. A whole new world. Just getting started. About an hour later, I got a tip notification on the app. He'd added a big tip, way more than a warehouse guy should spend. And there was a note attached. It said, "It's a girl, 6 pounds, 2 ounces. Everybody's healthy. I held her right this time. You were right about everything. Thank you, the new dad." I pulled over and read it twice. I'm not ashamed to tell you I got something in my eye. Here is what I think about now. People talk about the first day of a baby's life. But I think about it as the first day of his life too, the dad's. Because something is born in the parent the same night the baby is. The man who walked into that hospital and the man who will walk out are not the same man. He went in a scared kid in a hi-vis vest, doing math about whether he could afford it. He'll come out a father, and he'll never do that particular math again. Not because the money got easier, but because the question changed. It stopped being, can we afford this? And started being, what do I need to do? Those are completely different questions. The first one keeps you up at night. The second one gets you out of bed in the morning. I think we spend so much of our lives waiting to be ready. Waiting till we have enough. Waiting till the timing's right. Waiting to win some lottery of perfect circumstances that's never actually going to come. And meanwhile, life just happens. The baby comes 3 weeks early. The thing you weren't ready for arrives anyway. And it turns out you were never going to be ready. And it turns out that's fine. Because readiness was never the point. Showing up was the point. Running out of work at 2 a.m. with shaking hands. That was the point. He didn't wait until he could afford it. He couldn't afford it. He did it anyway. Broke, scared, in a one-bedroom on a warehouse salary. And he ran across a dark parking lot at 3 a.m, yelling that he was going to be a dad. Because some things you don't wait for. Some things you just run toward, with grease on your hands and terror in your chest, and more love than you know what to do with.
That's the first day of a life. Maybe 2 lives. Maybe his most of all. Somewhere out there is a little girl, 6 pounds 2 ounces, who's a few months old now. And she has a dad who held her right the second time, and who learned on the night she was born that he was ready all along. He just had to run toward it to find out. I hope she knows someday how fast he ran.